Sorry. You guys always jumping. Always.
It's a warm embrace between Milwaukee's top two law enforcement officials that quickly turns into a joke.
If it was 4:30 and you get here 4:15, you're late.
Acting Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman and Milwaukee County Sheriff Ernell Lucas, two friends who rose through the ranks to lead their departments in the city they grew up in, agreed to a lengthy joint interview with 12 News at the Rave. The National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, or NOBLE, was founded in 1976.
Nearly 45 years later, 12 News sits down with Milwaukee's black leaders in law enforcement for a candid conversation. Here's investigative reporter Derek Rose.
To see the city from their perspective, one has to look through the filter of reflection. Their lives, their legacies are rooted in Milwaukee, along with the path to their profession. Acting Milwaukee Police Chief Jeffrey Norman and Milwaukee County Sheriff Ernell Lucas.
What got you into the job?
I grew up here on the near west side. I had an encounter as a young boy with a law enforcement officer, and he accused me of stealing a woman's purse, and ended up, I told him I didn't have anything to do with that, and made a pact with him that if he wants to take me to go have the woman identify me, I'll go. But if she doesn't identify me, you'd take me back over here to the store to get groceries for my grandmother. And it was in that moment I knew what I wanted to do for my community, because when you think about the encounters that young black and brown men and women have today with law enforcement compared to the one that I had, where I was able to walk free, and some never leave that encounter.
Being a graduate of North Division High School, we had some close interactions not only with the District 5 commander. We also worked with the DARE officer, and it was really a personal experience to have that level of interaction with an officer that was positive.
This is beautiful.
When we met with the two leaders early this month, they chose a setting of significance. At 24th in Wisconsin, the Rave was once home of the Eagles Club, which for much of its history had a whites-only policy. Inside its ballroom now sit two men with their own footnote to history. This is only the third time Milwaukee's police chief and sheriff are not only black, but serving at the same time. Most recently, Lucas shared the tandem with retired acting chief Michael Brunson. The only other time it happened, 2002, when David Clark was sheriff and Milwaukee had its first black chief, Art Jones. But being a person who enforces the law was not a shield from the challenges of being treated differently.
Do any of the challenges include facing racism on the job?
Oh, without a doubt. It was those experiences that have taught us to persevere and to continue on.
Persevered they did and rose through the ranks. Then in 2020, they witnessed a different movement for racial and social justice.
If we don't get it, shut it down. If we don't get it, shut it down.
Was fueled in part by the death of George Floyd under the knee of a Minneapolis police officer.
I can breathe.
That reckoning in 2020 did not spare Southeast Wisconsin. The day we sat down with Norman and Lucas was 1 year to the day since a police officer killed Alvin Cole in Wauwatosa. In April, prosecutors charged a Milwaukee officer in the chokehold death of Joel Acevedo. Then in August, there was the police shooting of Jacob Blake in Kenosha.
Do you ever look at those situations and say, as a black person, that could be me or that could be my family that's going through that violent experience?
Don't think that I don't ride down the street sometime and be looking in my rearview mirror. We live it, breathe it every day as a black man.
The Milwaukee officer's case is still in court, and he has since resigned. And the DAs in the Tosa and Kenosha cases chose not to file criminal charges against the officers, solidifying the criticism of prosecutors and police.
Is the criticism harder, not just being in law enforcement, but being a black man in law enforcement?
I am a black man first, just happen to be in law enforcement. You know, I have a African-American wife, I have an African-American son, I have an African-American daughter. We are a black family. So if I say that that doesn't make me aware of certain things, I'll be lying to you.
For us, for me, the criticism, the critique is in many ways the fuel that we need in order for us to deliver the level of service that the people in this community expect and truly deserve. And so while some can be unfair in their criticism. The chief and myself can't be that thin-skinned to take things personal.
For these men, it comes down to a single word: accountable.
We need to model that, show that, expect that, and ensure that we are going to hold people accountable who don't embody that. I'm not going to tolerate that under my watch. It's not going to happen. A few things I can guarantee. I can't guarantee things won't happen, but I can guarantee it won't happen again.
Derek joins us now live tonight. Derek, one of the other challenges those leaders face is something all of us are dealing with: the pandemic.
Yeah, the pandemic, Joy, has really had a major effect on policing as well. It's one of the several topics we covered in our hour-plus long conversation, which we tried to boil down to just those 5 minutes you saw right there. So what we did is we took that portion of the interview where we talk about policing in the pandemic, and we put that clip for you inside this story on our website at WISN.com. Joyce?
Get more insights there. Thank you, Derek.